Technology and Innovation Foundation, and somebody who's former DG at the DRDO. He's going to be with us on the broadcast. And Group Captain V.N. Jha, former Joint Director, DRDO and aerospace expert. We've got quite the panelists with us on the broadcast here. Ms. Telvamurthy and Group Captain Jha, very warm welcome to you. What a big day we're talking yet again. The memories of Shubhanshu Shukla and what a great success that entire mission was, the Gaganyaan, all of that is still fresh, and that hangover, it still lasts. And now already ISRO and NASA collectively putting this mammoth of a radar system up there. Group Captain, let's begin with you. Really, how big of a day this is. Never seen before data is going to be easily accessible after every 12 days when this radar captures the globe in a way that's never been done before.
Oh yes, Kabir. Many compliments to the entire nation that it is going to achieve a very high scientific feat, because it is never before that such a high resolution synthetic aperture radar have been deployed, and that too in the dual numbers. Both in L-band and S-band they are going to be there. L-band has been developed by NASA, and S-band of ISRO is there. Basically, what it is going to do is, it is going to serve the humanity on the Earth. For long, people have been crying that the Earth is going through climate changes and many other things that is happening on the Earth. So this particular radar, this particular synthetic aperture radar of ISRO and NASA are going to serve various purposes. Firstly, it is going to measure the changing ecosystem on the Earth, dynamic surface, how the surfaces of the Earth are going through the dynamic phases, the ice mass over the polar area, over the Arctic, Antarctic, it is going to be there. Biomass, how it is evolving, especially those concerning the greenhouse gas effects, natural hazards, hazards as it is happening every now and then, that is going to be predicted or going to be measured. Sea level rise, that is going to be measured. Under the seabed, the floor of the sea, ocean, that is going to be measured, how it is evolving with the many of the volcanoes that have taken place in the sea in the past. So that is going to be there, groundwater and many other systems, including the crop changes on the Earth and so on. You can continue so many things happening. Since it is the synthetic aperture radar, it is going to be both day and night, whether it is cloudy or not cloudy, clear sky, makes no difference. This is for the first time that the two functions are going to be there. It is going to be in the sun synchronous polar orbit. With that, what we mean is that at all the times when the satellite makes a pass over any part of the Earth, the sun remains in the same position. So that means the illumination, the shadow conditions, and the entire topography of the Earth over the pass area are going to be identical. This pass is going to be every 12th day in the identical position. There is the up pass and down pass. One is that when you make a pass towards the pole, another is making pass away from the pole. So on one side of the Earth, you are going to measure in say about a total time of the orbit will be about 96 minutes or so. So half of this you will be measuring the one side of the Earth, mapping the one side of the Earth. Other time you will be mapping the other side of the Earth. Look, this is the first time that the entire Earth is going to be mapped. Earlier also we have got plenty of Earth observation satellites. Even ISRO has got it. We have Cartosat 3, HISIS, Cartosat 2 series, and thereafter.
Full as the Nisar, not as powerful as the Nisar, Group Captain. That's the main idea.
Absolutely.
I will put you on the spot later in the discussion, because you're not going anywhere before we finally launch off from Sriharikota. And I do need to put you on the spot, understanding who did the heavy lifting. Was it NASA NASA or was it ISRO? But before that, Thoya Jakshi Shekhar, my colleague, she joins us live from Sriharikota, from the Satish Dhawan Space Station. Let's quickly cut across to her, get a sense of what's really happening on the ground over there. Thoya, what can you tell us? Can you see the magnificent GSLV and that Nisar pod right on top of the GSLV rocket? We're also learning several school students, from various Andhra Pradesh schools. They've made a beeline to the Satish Dhawan Space Station to catch a glimpse of this historic moment. Over to you, Thoya. What are you picking up?
Yes, Kabir, like you rightly mentioned, that there are several school students from Sriharikota as well as several school students from Chennai as well, have traveled all the way to Sriharikota to see this massive ISRO's and NASA's launch, the Nisar mission today at the Sriharikota. This is an historic collaboration between NASA and ISRO in the Nisar, NASA and ISRO synthetic aperture radar, satellite is all set to be launched today around 5:40 p.m. in Indian time from the Satish Dhawan Space Centre in Sriharikota. The satellite will be lifted into orbit aboard the GSLV F-16 launch vehicle, lifted into orbit aboard the GSLV F-16 launch vehicle, Kabir. This landmark mission marks the first time a satellite will carry both L-band and S-band synthetic aperture radars jointly developed by the United States and India. The NASA has provided the L-band radar while ISRO has developed the S-band radar. The combination of these two systems, enables high-resolution coverage imagining of Earth's surface. The purpose of this mission, it is Nisar satellite is designed to provide critical data for monitoring melting and polar ice loss, predicting potential landslides and ships. It attacks changes in forest covers and agricultural lands on Earth. Studying the impact of natural disasters like earthquake and tsunamis also is expected.
As in, when you get somebody to speak with, Thoya, if you could speak with some of the school children over there and get the studio a little bit of an input of what the school students also feel like over there. Needless to say, we're all jealous. You got front row seats of that launch that's taking place. But now live footage of that countdown underway. And mind you, just like Shubhanshu Shukla's touchdown and splashdown, it was being carried out by two different ground controls, one in Houston, one in California. The same is going to happen this time. A NASA ground control that's going to take place in the United States, and ISRO is going to have its own ground control, and that marriage and synergy we're going to take a look at once again. It's the first time ISRO and NASA coming together on a solo collaboration project over here as well. Dr. Selvamurthy, President, Amity Science Technology, somebody who's the former DG at the DRDO or continues to be with us. Dr. Selvamurthy, I think Group Captain very nicely expounded what all this technology is going to be able to do once it goes up there. But do we have past examples of such an observatory in space working in the lower orbit with this kind of size? I mean, look at the money that's been put in for this particular project, and this is almost about more than 2 tons of weight in the lower orbit. How is that going to work out, Dr. Selvamurthy?
It's yet another important milestone in the Indian space mission, and ISRO has come a long way and developing launch vehicles like GSLV, which is going to be used in this mission, starting from SLV, ASLV, PSLV, GSLV, and now the GSLV, the fat boy, which can do a heavy lift to the space. So that is going to be used in this mission. And the mission, it is $1.5 billion investment for this mission to create the Earth Observatory, and using the satellite Nisar, which is NASA ISRO synthetic aperture radar. What do you mean by this? To tell the common man, what is the synthetic aperture radar? See, when you
coming to that, Dr. Selvamurthy, what do you understand by the S-band and the L-band? I mean, aperture, that definitely means a camera. Is this a you have the supercomputer here on Earth. Is this going to be the super camera up there?
Actually, it's a radar. Radar, you need antennas. So you need an array of antennas which will send signal, microwaves, into the Earth and then the reflector, depending on the spectral reflections it gets. So this will be picked up, and so that you will be able to see the spectral signatures. So you need two bands. One can look at surface level, other can look at deep level, at depth. So that is why you have a long range, the frequency band, which is the L band, and then you have a short wavelength, which is the S band. So this will be able to look at both at the surface level as well as deeper into the surface, down below the surface. So that is why it is a dual frequency synthetic aperture radar, which is aimed to look at all the changes in the surface, like Group Captain Jha mentioned. For example, melting of the ice, and also volcanoes, or the flood, or the waves, tides, or the changes which occurs in the extreme climatic conditions, natural disasters, forest fires, which you have just shown it in the visuals. So these are all at the surface level. But some of them could be at the deep level, like ocean level. You can also look down into the below the surface. So that is where you have these two frequency bands. And that is why these are very powerful. The resolution increases because the field of vision for any camera or for a radar, and radar you call it as global spat. That is, in this particular case, is 242 kilometers. That's the field of vision. So once it maps the surface of the Earth, it takes 12 days to complete one complete mapping of the Earth. So this is how this is important. The whole Earth can be seen once in 12 days continuously. We can just keep on monitoring the Earth. So it has got tremendous applications. I would mention, if you look at agriculture, precision agriculture. Now we are talking about sustainable agriculture, precision agriculture. How much the soil requires, the crop requires in terms of water, fertilizer, pesticides. Instead of giving ad lib, which is being given now, water is being given ad lib. Whether it is paddy, wheat, you just give it. But then there you can give precisely water irrigation could be optimized using this image which comes there. Soil. Each soil has got a characteristic in terms of soil moisture. Similarly, each crop requires certain quantity of water. So using these images, you will be able to optimize water for irrigation. Similarly, some soil is deficient in the fertilizers, NPK. So you will be able to assess precisely which type of fertilizer to be given and what quantity to be given, so that you are not destroying the soil health by putting the fertilizers at live. Similarly, pesticide. You can monitor the crop health. How is the crop health of each domain globally? Not just only in India or in US. You can look at the global. So this will be a global observatory which can help not just 1.2 billion
Look at this,
people.
Dr. Silvamurthy. On a day when 8.8 magnitude earthquake strikes the Kamchatka Peninsula of Russia's far east, and a dozen of tsunami alerts across 12 plus countries, right from Hawaii to Japan. Could this radar, if it was already functional, could this have prompted or notified us about this kind of seismic activity? That's a big advent. I mean, tomorrow we could be saving thousands of lives on an everyday basis. Group Captain, take a look at this. I wanted to understand the L band and the S band, but who did the heavy lifting here? Because the GSLV is another Indian rocket. They have so many launch pads in the United States as well. They could have launched it from there. But we do it better, we do it cheaper. And who's done the heavy lifting here? Can we have a verdict on that, Group Captain?
Oh, yes. I think we are on the equal footings. NASA has undoubtedly, they have developed the L-band SAR, and
Captain?
that I believe is about 12-meter diameter dia of deployable mesh reflector. This is a very rare sort of technical, innovations in the satellite, in the smaller satellite. 2-ton satellite is a smaller satellite itself. So that is one which has been developed by NASA. Also, there is a very fast computerized passing of the information. I believe it is, 3.5 Gbps of the information that the small satellite will be able to transfer. In one go, about 20 in one complete swap. I believe about 26 terabyte capacity of the information is going to be collected. Now, no onboard satellite can retain this. So these data will be grabbed, received by the satellite, and then transferred back to the Earth station. And there is one small there is a onboard computer which will be grabbing about I think it is about 9 terabyte of the solid state recorder that will continue recording, that will keep on comparing those data in addition to the mobile data being transferred to the Earth station. So these are the achievements of the NASA. Plus, they have also developed some of the engineering aspects of the payload in the computerization that is with them. Now, coming back to the ISRO has developed that S-band synthetic aperture radar. You asked Dr. Savimurthy about synthetic aperture. Look, any lens, any camera you see, there is nothing in front of the camera. Camera has got a clear space. Now, these radars, even the radar, say Air Force radar or Army radar, they don't have anything in front of it because that will cause its shadow. But these synthetic aperture radar is the one which is having a small sort of surface which is transparent to the radar, maybe microwave frequencies, but it is giving you the complete cover. So this is the synthetic aperture. There is an aperture, but that you can't see it. So that is what the synthetic aperture radar means. And there are various types of synthetic aperture radar. We also have many of our satellites, which is getting the data Earth observation under the synthetic band, but not so precise. Remember, this NASA element had come about 3 years back, and we were expecting that the complete integration with the ISRO part will be done in about 6 months to 8 months, and then it will be launched somewhere in later part of the 2022 or early part of the 23. But that didn't happen. They have run through some tricky situations of the technological integration between the two technologies, but finally it is up now and it is going up there. But you also have to see in the front that the technology what was there in 2016, all these the data, all these technologies are of 2016 conception. So what that has happened in 2016, that is what is right now going into the space. So welcome something what is going to the space. It is going to be for the first time that the complete Earth is going to be swapped, mapped, and in the public domain. I should not talk this, but then any of our satellite which is making the Earth observation, it is meant for our part of the territory that the Earth mapping is going on. But directly or indirectly, publicly or otherwise hidden, people do look into others' territory as well. But this is for the first time that the entire Earth is going to be swapped, mapped, and the data is going to be open to entire scientist community of the world. So this is the first time it is happening, because as Dr. Selvamurthy was pointing out, in the agriculture domain, there is a lot to be learned for the entire Earth, because the entire humanity will benefit with this. So this data is going to be presented to them. And secondly, the exigencies, natural disasters, all these, what is happening, it is going to be now seen day and night by two different synthetic aperture radars.
Been able to detect what happened in Russia, Group Captain, can we say that? Would it have been able to detect the earthquake, the 8.8 magnitude earthquake?
Yeah, that is a tricky thing to be answered. Now, look what the synthetic aperture radar does. It is seeing the actual things what is happening after the disaster has hit, after the tsunami has arisen. That is the thing what will be picked up by the Nisar. In case if it is at that position, making a pass over that part of Russia at that time when the disaster has struck. If not, it will come only after 96 minutes later. If it has already made a pass, it will again make another pass 96 minutes later. But by that time, Earth would have rotated. it will not go in the same area. So it's a bit of tricky situation, but the overall, no, this, see, all these data are going to be taken for next 3 years or so, but the satellite will remain in situ for 5 years. So ISRO will have 5 years of the data. But what is important is how the things changes. What you have seen today, what Earth satellite would have been would have picked up that tsunami or the 8.7 Richter scale earthquake, how it will look from that place, that will be studied. And again, when it is making another pass over the same area, how it looks thereafter. The overall changes, the dynamics of the Earth's surface, this is what will be visible in the synthetic aperture radar, especially in the high resolution area. The resolution will be anything from 3 to 10 meters in the two. Under the mode that will be going through. So this is how it is going to be there. One more thing very important. Now this radar, this satellite has got very...
Just hold on for a second, Group Captain. Let the viewers also breathe. Your Pandora's box of knowledge is what we know. But Group Captain, let's quickly dip into these live visuals that we're getting from the Satish Dhawan Space Centre. So many times we see NASA, Axiom and SpaceX, carry out these kind of discussions and live screenings. Let's dip in to see what ISRO also has to offer.
रचना का नाम नाइसार है. .7-meter tall GSLV is a 3-stage launch vehicle of 420.5 tons liftoff mass. The first stage, GS1, comprises of S-139 solid booster and 4 strap-ons of liquid L40. The second stage, GS2, is Earth storable liquid stage of GL40 HT. The third stage, GS3, otherwise called CUS-15, and is powered by cryogenic propellant combination of LOX and liquid hydrogen. The payload fairing is of ogive shape with 4-meter diameter.
There you have it, the particulars of the GSLV right here on our screens. The vehicle height, lift of mass, the stages. It's a 3-stage product. The first stage GS1, GS2 and the payload fairing. The scientific characteristics of the GSLV, the space taxi that we're talking about. Dr. Selvamurthy is with us on the broadcast. Dr. Selvamurthy, what is it about our PSLV, our GSLV, that the entire world wants to come to India to put their satellite on top of our space taxi so that we can take it up there? I mean, we're the space Uber, if I could put it that way.
See, there are 3 important things why the world is looking towards India. One is reliability of our vehicle, launch vehicles, PSLV. If you see, the failure rate is minuscule, the success rate almost close to 100% success. So it's a highly reliable missions which ISRO has executed in the past, launching 104 satellites in one mission. And also every launch becoming perfect, accurate, and so the reliability and accuracy of the mission execution in ISRO has been remarkable and historical, and that is one reason why the whole world is looking towards Indian space research and organization to launch its own payloads, be it a satellite or any other payload they want to send to space. Second is cost effective, because we do everything in a frugal manner. So naturally the cost comes down. So the second reason why the global community is looking towards India is because of this cost-effective mission execution. That is the second aspect. And then third is sharing information. We are very open and we share information, collaborate with open hands. So so there is ease of collaboration with India and Indian space research. So these are the 3 reasons. And in this mission, which is being executed with India and US, is a very important, strategically also important for us, that 2 countries, a long democracy and a large democracy, coming together in the space mission. And then this satellite will also have strategic application, which we have not discussed. but then it is very, the data which you get will also have strategic implications in terms of looking at the borders, looking at the change detections in the borders. So I see there is also a very strong Indo-US collaboration in this particular Nisar satellite, which has been so meticulously in a joint manner has been executed. L-band coming from US, S-band being developed in India by the SAC, that is the Satellite Application Center in Ahmedabad, and other ISRO centers. The launch vehicle GSLV coming from also ISRO. So it's a great collaborative mission. So I'm sure such kind of collaboration is required for a huge mission like this, $1.5 billion investment. So this is going to be also helping the whole globe. The whole humanity will be benefited. Not only the India and US will be benefited.
And that's where the Vishwa Bandhu aspect comes in, Dr. Silvamurthy. Prime Ministers, the Vishwa Guru, and India, the Vishwa Bandhu, were helping the entire scientific community and extending that olive branch. We're doing the heavy lifting, of course, with collaboration in NASA, but we're essentially helping the entire globe at large. Live visuals from the Satish Dhawan Space Centre to the left sides of our screens, and what this satellite sets out to do, the impeccable collaboration with NASA and ISRO. And we're also getting some visuals of how many people have gotten together at the Satish Dhawan Space Centre. It's a little bit of a festival that's going down over there. 5:40 is the time where the GSLV F-16 rocket takes the Nisar satellite up there. Also with us on the broadcast, along with Group Captain Jha and Dr. Silvamurthy, is now a former director, DRDO, Ravi Kumar Gupta, who continues to be with us on the broadcast. A very warm welcome to you, sir. Sir, let's bring you into the discussion as well. We've got some animations and 3D replicas of what this satellite will actually set out to do. But when we talk about collaboration, we made a particular radar, we integrated the system, and we're going to be carrying out the launch. So in my limited opinion, I think Group Captain Jha says that it's 50-50, but I think we're doing the heavy lifting here. And what does that now tell us about our own space maturity? Chandrayaan 3, Aditya L1, Shubhanshu Shukla's mission, we're looking at the Bharat Antariksh Space Station and the Gaganyaan, and now so much of heavy lifting in the Nisar radar satellite as well.
Yeah, right. I mean, see, from the early days of 1960s and 70s, when we were struggling to send our first satellite into the space, we have come a long way. Remember, we were the first one to detect water on the surface of on Moon. People were saying that there is no water, doesn't exist on Moon, and we were the first one to detect it and confirm it, verify it. Yeah. So we have our own Gaganyaan program. We have already landed our robot on the Moon surface. We are preparing to launch another this Moon's Earth collection mission very soon. So I mean, we are today one of the strongest space powers, and not just emerging space powers. We have arrived on the scene, and that is the reason that a knowledge giant among the Russia and America were the first two countries, and now today we are having a collaborative mission with America. With yes, I can say in a broad sense, you can say it is a 50-50, but I think it is equal in each and every aspect, whether it is technology, whether it is a component-wise. In fact, when you talk of launch, the entire satellite is going to be launched by our own indigenous platform, having our own indigenous the cryogenic engines, which we were for a long time denied to us, and we emerged as a victor.
The heavy lifting.
Yeah. So that's why I would say today we stand on equal footing. So that's I mean, in terms of going into instead of going to nitty-gritty and what component come from which country, I would say that we are today working on equal terms, sharing the information, sharing the outcome of the knowledge, the kind of knowledge, voluminous knowledge and information data we are going to generate out of this mission during the next 3 to 5 years. It is the minimum estimated life is 3 years, but we expect that it will last up to 5 years. And during this period, it is going to generate the volume of data is so voluminous that people say that whatever today exists in the archives of NASA, the data generated by this individual satellite is going to be more than that. So that's the power of this mission. Ravi.
Very eloquently put, Mr. Ravi Kumar Gupta. Let's quickly dip in to what's happening at the ground control here in India. Let's dip in and see what this live cast tells us. Minutes from now, when the launch is going to take place, all the dignitaries and the VIPs now sitting over here. Jitendra Singh as well. And yesterday, Jitendra Singh was the first person to take to social media to say that we are that Vishwa Bandhu. We're extending that collaborative handshake with everybody who wants to come in, meet us halfway, and actually do the right kind of work. Let's listen in as to what's happening here, what the commentators telling us. How soon will we see the Nisar satellite up in space? 5:40 local time was the time that was given to us. About 5 minutes from now, I think final checks that have already been in place. The last 2 days preparations underway at the Satish Dhawan Space Station.
112 सेकंड प्रज्वलित रहकर यान को 54 किलोमीटर की ऊंचाई प्रदान करेगा तथा इस समय 24 किलोमीटर प्रति सेकंड की सापेक्ष गति होगी. L40 स्ट्रैप ऑन 150 सेकंड तक प्रज्वलित रहता है. इसके बाद लगभग 600 मिलीसेकंड बाद द्वितीय चरण प्रज्वलित होता है और इसके तुरंत बाद
is satisfactory. I think that's the key operative portion that I've taken up amidst that commentary. Everybody from various departments sitting down, waiting with bated breath to watch the GSLV F-16 rocket take the Nisar satellite, the radar system, up in the lower orbit. It is going to be in the 747 kilometer orbit. It's a sun synchronous orbit that we're talking about here. Group Captain Jha, very quickly before we look at the launch take place, fingers crossed, very successfully, with most reliable 100% success rate, as far as Dr. Selva-Murthy was heard quoting here on the show. Group Captain, we're talking about natural disasters and how it's going to bring a closer look on that. But with this kind of amount of data, this kind of impeccable, never seen before, impressive, unprecedented data, national security and strategy, are these two aspects that are also going to be worked upon with the help of the Nisar radar and satellite?
Well, let the world not be alarmed that we are going to look at the security aspect of the nation. No, synthetic aperture radar is not really ideal for that purpose, though the high resolution synthetic aperture radar can assist in various ways, including the early warning of the airborne systems. But Kabir, let me permit, because a lot of people have asked me this particular question, how this GSLV-2 is going to take the satellite to the space. Just in briefly, I'm going to tell you.
Absolutely, we don't have much time. Like clockwork, Group Captain, like clockwork. We've got 20 seconds to tell us exactly what this three-phase GSLV launch is going to look like.
First stage with the 4 strap-on motors is going to take it to about 105 odd kilometers the altitude in about 150 seconds. Thereafter, stage 2 will burn off. It will take to about 240 odd kilometers of the altitude in the same time. Then the third stage, that is the liquid stage, cryogenic stage, that will take on, and that will take it to that 745 odd kilometer altitude at a speed of about 7.57 kilometers per second. That is the essence of the orbital velocity that it has to achieve. So that is how it is going to be there. Once that velocity is achieved, it will be injected. It is all computerized. It is all automated, so that it will be injected into the orbit. And then thereafter, that minor orbit corrections, velocity corrections, the path corrections, those things will continue.
Take place later. I think first they want to achieve the right kind of orbit, and the process has been told to us, explained to us by Group Captain. Let's cut across to the live coverage. The launch is going to take place shortly from now. My panelists, Dr. Selva-Murthy, Mr. Gupta, Group Captain Jha, do stay on with us. Couple of questions right on the other side. Let's enjoy and take a look at this entire space launch. The Satish Dhawan Space Centre, the plethora of school kids that come in here. You've got an Indian jersey as well. Cricket fans, we wear it on our sleeve when it comes to cricket, the right kind of religion. But everybody is here to catch a glimpse of the launch of the GSLV F-16 rocket. This is a red letter day after Aditya L1, after Chandrayaan 3, after Subhanshu Shukla's mission. Now another historic moment. We've come such a long way, and it tells volumes about our own maturity, our own ambitions on space exploration bids, and we're not selfish, we're not selfless. We're doing this for the entire world. Every 12-day, unprecedented, detailed capturing of the entire Earth. Let's look at this. 59, T minus 58 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy.
An operational philosophy unique to the GSLV F-16 Nisar mission is that cusp stage is operated by 11% for the duration of 405 seconds. About 11 minutes into flight, the cryogenic upper stage shuts down. The satellite Nisar is separated and injected into an altitude of 745.5 kilometers with a relative velocity of 7.57 kilometers per second.
Minus 25 seconds.
We are mere 25 seconds from the launch.
All movies open. Minus 20 seconds.
सभी दर्शक हमारे साथ बने रहिए। सर्वप्रथम टी माइनस 4.8 सेकंड्स पर L40s का प्रज्वलन हम देखेंगे।
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
All L40 engines generating nominal thrust. S139 motor ignited.
5 seconds.
That's a magnificent of the GSLV F-16 Nisar mission. The deafening roar of GSLV and beautiful silhouette brightening the Sriharikota sky.
जी हाँ, अभी आपने देखा चारों L40 तथा 4 बूस्टर S139 का सफल प्रज्वलन और GSLV F-16 का उत्थापन द्वितीय प्रमोचन मंच से, और ये अपने गंतव्य की ओर बढ़ता हुआ। हम यहाँ कंपन महसूस कर पा रहे हैं मिशन नियंत्रण केंद्र पर।
The first stage of GSLV with S139 solid core motor and 4 L40 liquid strap-ons thrusting together. 7,800 kilonewton cumulative thrust.
First stage performance normal.
Sharon is in main auto.
The day of launch wind biasing program that is fed into the onboard computers helped the rocket to veer through the atmosphere with minimal aerodynamic loads.
प्रथम चरण का कोर बूस्टर लगभग 100 सेकेंड्स तक प्रज्वलित रहेगा तथा L40 चरण 150 सेकेंड तक प्रज्वलित रहकर शांत हो जाएंगे। तत्पश्चात इसे यान से पृथक कर दिया जाएगा। वर्तमान में सभी तंत्र सामान्य निष्पादन करते हुए और यान अपने अपेक्षित पथ का अनुकरण करता हुआ चल रहा है।
Currently the rocket is in open loop guidance. Shar ground station is tracking.
S139 burnout.
कोर बूस्टर का प्रज्वलन समाप्त हो चुका है।
Here we have an announcement from the Range Operations Director that the core booster has stopped its operation. The 4 L40s are thrusting still.
First stage performance normal.
प्रथम चरण का कार्य निष्पादन पूरी तरह सामान्य। यान उद्दिष्ट दिशा की ओर अग्रसर होता हुआ वर्तमान में प्रथम चरण प्रज्वलित है। L40s प्रज्वलित हैं। इनका कुल कार्यकाल 150 सेकंड का होगा।
L40 shut off. GS2 ignited. GS1 separated. 1S. IS 1/2 main separated.
जी हाँ, अभी आपने सुना रेंज ऑपरेशन निदेशक ने इसकी पुष्टि की है। प्रथम चरण को सफलता से पृथक किया जा चुका है। द्वितीय चरण का प्रज्वलन शुरू हो चुका है।
Marking
closed loop guidance initiated.
The flight, the GS1 has undergone a hot separation and GS2 commenced its operation and thrusting nominally. The payload fairing has also been separated and closed loop guidance has been initiated.
जी हाँ, इस दौरान
Second stage performance normal.
वातावरण से बाहर जा चुका है, इसलिए पेलोड फेयरिंग या ऊष्मा कवच की आवश्यकता नहीं रहती, इसलिए इसे यान से पृथक कर दिया जाता है। और अब यान क्लोज लूप गाइडेंस के अंतर्गत है और स्वतः ही अपना दिशा निर्धारण कर रहा है।
Powered by the Vikas engine that uses the Earth-storable propellant combination of UH-25 and N2O4, the second stage of GSLV develops 846 kilonewton thrust in vacuum. Burn time for this mission of GS2 is 140 seconds.
+4 minutes.
दर्शकों का उत्साह देखते ही बनता है यहाँ पर सभी उत्साहित इस प्रमोशन को लेकर। द्वितीय चरण सामान्य निष्पादन करता हुआ अग्रसर है अपने उद्देश्य कक्षा की ओर। इसमें इस चरण में UH-25 तथा N2O4 जाता है। यह विकास इंजन द्वारा संचालित है। इस चरण का कुल प्रज्वलन काल लगभग 150 सेकंड का होगा।
Cryo stage start authorized.
जैसा कि हमने पहले बताया था, द्वितीय चरण
Second stage performance normal.
तृतीय चरण को अनुमोदित कर दिया जाएगा।
There is a confirmation of the authorization of the third stage or the cryo stage
GS2 thrust cutoff.
operation. The
GS2
second stage
separate.
has completed its
Cascade ignition
operation
commanded.
and jettisoned from the ongoing vehicle.
द्वितीय चरण के सफलतापूर्वक प्रदर्शन के पश्चात
Cryo
इसे
stage
यान से
ignition
पृथक कर दिया
confirmed.
गया है और तृतीय तथा अंतिम चरण का प्रज्वलन शुरू हो चुका है।
The
यह बहुत ही
cryogenic-
जटिल चरण है। इसके साथ ही दर्शकों का उत्साह, यह अंतिम चरण है जो उपग्रह को उद्देश्य कक्षा की ओर ले जाएगा।
The cryogenic upper stage has commenced its operation. The
Cryo stage operating at operated level.
The CUS stage with CE 7.5 engine with liquid hydrogen as fuel and liquid oxygen as oxidizer with a nominal thrust of 73.55 kilonewton. In this mission, there will be a thrust upratement of 11%, that is
Cryo stage performance normal.
81.64 kilonewtons for about 405 seconds.
+6 minutes.
वर्तमान में तृतीय चरण क्रायो अपर स्टेज कार्यरत है। इस दौरान यह लगभग 75 किलो न्यूटन का प्रणोद उत्पन्न कर रहा है। यह चरण लगभग 850 मिनट सेकेंड्स तक जारी रहेगा। वर्तमान में सापेक्ष गति 3.49 किलोमीटर प्रति सेकेंड तथा ऊंचाई 514 किलोमीटर की हो चुकी है।
Cryo stage performance normal.
Altitude of 528 kilometers. Shower and Trivandrum stations continue to extend tracking and telemetry support. When the cryo stage had commenced action, the instantaneous relative velocity was 3.5 kilometers per second. While at the end of thrust upratement, it becomes 4.5 kilometers per second. For the next 400 seconds that follow, there is a significant addition in the relative velocity of up to 7.5 kilometers per second.
Cryo stage performance normal.
सभी विशिष्ट वैज्ञानिक यहाँ उपस्थित इस घटना के साक्षी बनने के लिए। तृतीय चरण का निष्पादन पूरी तरह सामान्य। इस दौरान भू स्थित रडार स्टेशन शार तथा त्रिवेंद्रम इसे भलीभांति ट्रैक कर रहे हैं।
The altitude gained during thrust upratement is about 400 kilometers in cryostage operational regime. When the thrust upratement ends, there is a considerable increase in relative velocity at a marginal loss of altitude.
+8 minutes.
तृतीय चरण की यात्रा लगभग 850 सेकेंड्स तक जारी रहेगी। इस दौरान आपको उपग्रह के बारे में कुछ जानकारियां उपलब्ध करा सकते हैं। नासा इसरो सिंथेटिक
Cryo
अपर्चर
stage
रडार,
performance normal.
जिसे संक्षिप्त में निसार कहते हैं, वैज्ञानिकों को प्राकृतिक खतरों और विनाशकारी घटनाओं जैसे भूकंप, ज्वालामुखी विस्फोट और भूस्खलन जैसी प्राकृतिक घटनाओं को बेहतर ढंग से समझने के लिए मदद करेगा। उपग्रह की बादलों को भेदने की क्षमता के कारण यह तूफान और बाढ़ जैसी मौसमी आपदाओं के दौरान त्वरित व सटीक जानकारी उपलब्ध कराने में सक्षम होगा, जिससे तत्काल प्रतिक्रिया समुदायों को मदद मिलेगी। यह बर्फ की चादर, ग्लेशियर और समुद्री बर्फ में परिवर्तन जैसे प्रमुख वैश्विक पृथ्वी अवलोकन को प्रदान करेगा। साथ ही वनों की कटाई
All right, so it's been a successful launch at this point in time. The first and the second phase have been completed very successfully. We're now waiting for the satellite to finally get separated. Finally, that's going to take place, the satellite separation at 805 seconds. It's only been 560 seconds since the launch, and you know that gets my mind racing to the fact, and Dr. Selvamurthy is with us on the broadcast here. Dr. Selvamurthy, the first two segments of this phases of this launch, it's undergoing absolute calculated precision, but when we're talking about the separation, and I was thinking to myself, the lower orbit is now just 6 minutes away. That's all the time you need. Today you calculate distances going from Delhi to, let's say, ramparts, outskirts of Delhi, and you calculate the time. It just takes 6 minutes to get up there in the lower orbit now, isn't it? Just about 300 odd seconds before the satellite finally separates itself from the GSLV. It would be great, just like the Falcon, if the GSLV also can come back and land itself back on Earth, but we do it so nicely, there's no problem whatsoever. 6 minutes is all you need.
The launch so far, the mission has gone very, very precise, as predicted, calculated. You know, we always say like a textbook demonstration that so far the first stage separation, second stage and third stage, solid, liquid and cryogenic, the cryopropulsion, third stage, everything has gone well. Now the separation of satellite will happen, and these all precision with that speed, what you said, the velocity with which the spacecraft moves, you know, this shows the propulsion technologies, how it has evolved. And then the separation at various stages and reignition of this next stage, these are all critical part in the launch part of the mission. So this has gone very well because ISRO has perfected this technology. That is why the reliability, which I mentioned, is almost 100%. And that is one reason the whole world now respects strength. This is very important. Once you gain science and technology strength, then you can look for collaboration, you can look for partnership. There will be willing partners coming for collaborating with us. So this is yet another demonstration of the scientific acumen and technology.
We've got about 150 odd seconds left. Group captain, some of those foreign delegates as well. Everybody was, of course, rose up to that rousing applause when the launch actually took place. But a lot of foreign delegation from NASA here as well, and they're equally, standing up and rejoicing the moment, applauding what we've been able to achieve here today.
Absolutely. They are, these are the crucial moments of any satellite launch. One is, of course, the separation and the ignition of the next phase. After the first stage has separated out, second phase, that has to ignite. And that has to happen with the precision. Same is the separation of the second stage and ignition of the third stage, that is the cryogenic stage. So these were the milestones of this launch, which is very, very crucial. We have seen many of the previous launches fail because the next stage didn't ignite after the separation of the previous stage. So these do happen, and this is what we all call the rocket science. There are so many of the intricacies in this, but what happens here now, you mentioned about going from here to Delhi and going to the space. Space is just about 745 kilometers. This satellite that will be placed into the orbit. Placing into orbit, let me just remind you all,
My apologies, we've got some commercial commitments, but on this note, it is a red letter day. Many thanks for joining us here on the broadcast. Group Captain Jha, Dr. Selvamurthy, and of course, Mr. Gupta, former director at DRDO. We're going to leave it at that. It's been a red letter day. Nisar satellite finally up there. The next 90 days, we're going to get a calibrated version. Every 12 days, climate science, a big boost, not just to India and USA, but to the entire scientific community. A red letter day for India's space ambitions, needless to say. Associate sponsor, Dyna Premium Beauty Soap. पहली झलक करे खूबसूरत
ये रोशनी का सफर दिलचस्प है, दिलचस्प है।
हम सूरज से सिर्फ बिजली नहीं बनाते हैं, खुशहाली को देश के कोने कोने तक भी पहुंचाते हैं।
ये रोशनी का सफर
अदानी, हम करके दिखाते हैं।
Light, camera, and action. Kick back, relax, grab your favorite snack because News9 is here with your weekend dose of entertainment. It's time to take a deeper dive into the buzzworthy happenings of the entertainment world. From celebrity gossips to exclusive conversations, from nostalgic moments to News9's pick of the week, don't worry, we've got you covered here. And I hope you've grabbed your popcorn by now because News9's page 3 is here to serve you everything that we call entertainment. So do stay tuned every Saturday and Sunday, 2:30 p.m.
A deep dive into what matters to you the most. Angles you won't find anywhere else. News that
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News9, English news as it should be.
Coming in on the show, US President Donald Trump has now announced 25% tariffs on India starting 1st of August. Failing to acquire a deal on trade, India will now pay a 25% tariff as far as that trade between India and US is concerned. Donald Trump, the US president, taking to social media platform X, has now announced, and I quote, India is our friend. We have over the years done relative business with India because their tariffs are far too high, among the highest in the world, and they have the most strenuous and obnoxious non-monetary trade barriers of any country. They have also bought a vast majority of their military equipments from Russia, and Russia's largest buyer of energy, along with China, and at a time when everyone wants Russia to stop the killing in Ukraine, all things not good. India will therefore be paying a whopping 25% tariff plus a penalty for the above starting 1st of August. So that is, of course, the latest into India and US trade relationships. Far too long now, for the past couple of months and weeks, India and US have been sitting at a table trying to negotiate a trade deal. It does look like that trade deal hasn't really come through, and US President was warning that India and US trade relations will take a beating going forward if no trade deal will be arrived at, and it looks like the trade deal hasn't been arrived at. US President has now announced a whopping 25% tariff on Indian goods. He says that India has imposed a very high tariff as well as non-tariff barriers, and failing to come up with any sort of conclusive measures on how these tariffs can be lowered for US imports into India. US President there punishing India with a 25% tariff. That tweet, as you can see on your screens, that social media post where US President has very categorically said that starting 1st of August, India will be paying a very high penalty. A penalty for continuing relationship with Russia, which essentially is a testament to the fact that India has so far, remember, for the last 2 years has been buying a lot of oil from Russia. Since many countries imposed high barriers on Russia, India's trade relationships vis-a-vis oil with Russia became better. And US President taking a note of that there and suggesting that India has continued to support Russia even when people are being killed in Ukraine, and therefore India will now be paying a price for it. A penalty will be levied. He's not given any more clarity and information on what kind of penalty will be levied, but what we do know so far that US and India trade relations so far going forward will be frosty until a trade deal is arrived at, the time limit for which has now expired, because Donald Trump has come forward suggesting a 25% levy will be imposed on any good that will be shipped into US. So that's the duty that Indian exporters will have to pay. What sort of impact will it have on trade relationships going forward? We'll try and break it down for you here in the show just a couple of minutes from now. But let me quickly reiterate what Donald Trump has said, and I'm going to quote his post on social media platform. He says, and I quote, "India is our friend. We have over the years done relatively little business with them because their tariffs are way too high and among the highest in the world. strenuous and obnoxious non-monetary trade barriers. Now, he's not explained what non-monetary trade barriers he's referring to, but he's categorically suggesting that India, for the fact that it hasn't really come up with a trade deal, it hasn't arrived at a trade deal with US, failing, those deadlines which were given by the US will now have to pay a price for it. And that price would be to the extent of 25% on all goods that India exports to the US. What sort of impact will it have? We'll try and understand that with the help of a guest very, very shortly. But he's also suggested something that is not likely to go down very well, with Indian politics, given all the discussions and the debates, given that it's the monsoon session of the parliament, and the relationship between India and US has already become a talking point vis-a-vis Operation Sindoor. Now, these latest trade tariffs and the barriers will become a further contentious issue going forward